All right, we are live. So, welcome to the Rabyd Atheist. I'm your host, Ed Rabyd, and this is the Rabyd Atheist channel. And today is Deconversion Hangout, where I help people who are deconverting talk about deconversion, do all the things that I do to try to help people get through their stuff. Um, it's sometimes it's a lonely walk, especially when you have a whole family full of theists. So, just a reminder to my mods, to any theists in the audience, this is a deconversion stream. It's a support stream. No preaching, no proselytizing. I'd really prefer if you didn't quote scripture at me because that's kind of stupid. I'm an atheist and I don't accept the Bible. So you got to prove the Bible is what it is first, or what you say it is, I should say. Well, let's see who's here. Who is here? Okay, we got David. Thanks for stopping by, David. And we got Martin. And we have, let's see, Rimmer's here. Yeah, I don't want to take that bet, but okay. Hey, Earl, glad you made it. Glad you're okay too. I don't know if Dave's still here. I don't. But he stopped by earlier and wanted to leave a few notes. So actually, Martin, I think that's a brilliant tactic. And so it does smoke them out because they always want to talk about near death experiences as being valid, and I think that's hilarious. I've studied them myself, and it's like there's just way too much crap in them for me to buy them. So, and I found it interesting that Habermas includes like a chapter in his first book as proof for the resurrection and the afterlife. I'm like, seriously, dude. Like, really? Your outline is triggering me already. Hey, Katie, you can lurk. Go ahead and lurk. I'm just couple of things of note. Well, first of all, we're still on our goal trying to get that Friday stream, so I still need 4 more super chats. But you guys decide how many streams I do a week. Is it going to be 4 to 6 or 5 or 6? So I always do 4, but the others 2 are kind of optional for me. So, did we let the vampire bunnies out? Did they get released? I just want to know. Did they get released? Did we accidentally set them loose? They're worse than gremlins. I just want to let you know. They are. They multiply like rabbits. Quite literally. All right. But yeah, probably. But yeah. So that's that. And then also, man, I got up this afternoon getting ready for streaming and everything, and I head to the comments section, and then I'm not going to call the guy out, but it's like there's the kind of commenter that drives me nuts, and I want to talk about that. The guy that every 30 seconds puts a time date stamp and writes a book, okay, about that part. Man, I mean, do you have nothing but time? You must be retired and have nothing but time on your hands. But I've always hated that type of commenter because I don't have time to deal with the Gish Gallop time date stamp kind of comments. So, some of you can probably go back and take a look. And I know some of you enjoy debating the theists in the comments, but that might be a good opportunity for another one. But I just don't do that. That's kind of why I started streaming, to deal with comments as they come up. So, oh, that's what happened. Okay, fair enough. We have to keep the lock on the cage better, but it might be too late. The rabbits are loose. The vampire buddies are everywhere. Oh, thank you, Martin. All right, now we're 3 away. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate the support. I only do the rules because I really need the support to justify live streaming. Otherwise, I'd rather work on videos, and so that's that. So, Yeah, so there's that. But thank you, Martin. I appreciate you. I also appreciate you as a mod. You're one of the guys that seem a lot of people think are more trigger happy, but I think you understand the rules, particularly for this stream. It's like, do not proselytize, do not preach at me. If you want to talk deconversion as a Christian, I'm happy to do that. Um, because I think a lot of people that comment and go to atheist YouTube channels and troll, I think they're already on the first steps. They have their doubts and they're fighting their doubts. And so I get it, but I also don't like it when I'm talking to people. So a rabbit vampire. Well, I mean, I can buy it. I mean, Monty Python showed us the death money, so I can buy it. Maybe he was the first. He's the original vampire rabbit. So it's a cute little rabbit, cute little money. All right, but deconversion. You think Marty's gotten soft? I think he'll. I don't know. I don't think he's gone that soft, but Martin is the perfect mod for this stream in particular because I deal with theists, the other three streams all the time, and I just want one stream where I can talk stuff. Okay, where I can just talk deconversion and all that stuff. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Much love back to you, Earl. I appreciate you so much. For those of you who may not know, she's the one who did the artwork. The logo in the corner is hers, and the emoji that's our vampire rabbit is hers. And I thank her very much for those. And she's still kind of working on things at her leisure. I'm sure she'll give me some other stuff at some point, but I've told her to take her time and do it, when she has time. So, but I love it. But thank you very much. All right. So what's the deconversion issue that I have? I always like to start. So I had my therapy session yesterday, and the biggest issue that came up for me, as always, it seems, is trust of other people. Um, when people ask me why that's a deconversion issue for me as a pastor, I want you to think about the role of a pastor for a while. You're constantly shaking hands and greeting new visitors, and sometimes they stay for a month or so, and you're emotionally investing in a relationship with them, and then they kind of bail on you and go somewhere else. Okay, and you're constantly investing in these relationships, and then they don't pan out, and a lot more don't pan out, and then you couple it with me with a lot of backstabbing over the years. I lost track of the number of board members and people that just decided to take pot shots at me when they didn't want it. It's and then you throw in autism on top of that. And when I was young and autistic, now I look back at it, I was very trusting of people. I just took them at their word. And after a while, people take advantage of that enough, and you develop the opposite attitude. Now I don't trust shit. Okay, so one of the real problems that I have, and I don't think I'm alone in this when you get out of the church, is trusting people as far as friendships. And for me, it's also romantic relationships. I really have a hard time with those because it's like, I don't want to get hurt again. I'm tired of being hurt. I've got so many scars on my heart from people that I've lost track. It might as well be one big piece of scar tissue, so to speak. And so I have a hard time doing that. And I think a lot of people deconverting when they leave the church, and all these people basically turn their back on you. That's a big one for a lot of people. I remember a couple years ago, somebody came in to the channel and left a comment about how the hardest thing was the fact that they thought they had all these friends, and yeah, it just all of a sudden they're not friends anymore. In fact, they kind of can be, evil. So, oh, you're working the carrots and good. Yeah, trusting other people is very hard for me. And so from my therapist is like, she's very understanding of why. Okay. She's an atheist too, by the way. So before everybody goes gaga, you got to watch the therapy. I got mine through Recovery from a Religion, which the link is in the description of every one of my videos. And if you're a pastor or a minister, I also have the Clergy Project in there for you too. But we've been working through this issue probably every therapy session I've ever had with her. It's about trust and trust in relationships, at least for at least 5-10 minutes. And it's been something, I don't know, it really becomes a problem for me when I'm trying to trust people. And so it takes a lot to get through that. So yeah, Christian gossip. Yeah, when I left the church, there was so much gossip about why I left and how I left. And yeah, I couldn't trust any of those people anymore. I had one of them run into me and try to be buddy buddy, and I'm like, you voted to fire me. Okay, I'm like, I'm having a little bit of trouble trusting you, seeing you voted to fire me. It's like, yeah. So there's that aspect of it. But the trust issues that come after you leave the church come up for me a lot, because I dedicated a lot of my life to church. And so now I don't have that in my life. And it's like, there's a reason, other than the bullshit of Christianity. It's more of also the, it's just the way people treat me now. And I get that from everybody. Yeah, that's kind of been the problem for me. And the the down consequence of that is that I don't trust people anymore, because when you talk about love so much, and then when something goes wrong out the way that the church doesn't want it, then all of a sudden they don't love you anymore. Okay, they have the definition of love that Christians have is so flexible. It's like, it's very conditional. They'll talk about the unconditional love of God and how they need to emulate it, but then they never demonstrate it themselves. And I'm not sure unconditional love is really a real thing, but I mean, there's always, if you love somebody, you kind of expect that they're not going to hurt you intentionally. So, hey, Ann, good to see you. Spill the religiosity. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head, Martin. People who have hurt you have earned your distrust. But it really causes problems, like with friendships. Like, I have very few friends now, and I'm not really working to make more. I come here on the stream. I have a lot of you guys as my friends, and but we're internet friends. We're not hanging out and having a beer. Not that I ever really did that anyway, but it's the trust issue every time when somebody wants to get close to me. What do you want? And that's a thing from being a pastor too, because every time I used to get people come up to me and they start doing nice things for me, I'm like, what do you want? Okay, it's always, what do you want in the ministry? You're after something. Even when people did stuff nice for the church, it was like, hey, pastor, could you pray for me and get me in good with God, kind of thing. I'm like, I don't know. Oh man. Yeah, there are very few people that one can truly trust. I get that. So it's one of the few places I use the word faith. I have faith in that person. And it's kind of indicating I have faith in the relationship. There's nothing tangible there. Like, I can't put data and stuff, but I can say the repeated behavior is that they've always been good to me. So I trust them to continue to be good to me. So, but it's one of the few times you'll hear me utter the word faith with any kind of meaning. So, yeah, I get that, Amory. I think I also have kind of a negative attitude towards people that still believe, because it's the frustration you have to fight as a deconverted person, because you see the man behind the curtain and they don't. Okay, they still see the great and powerful Oz, and that's their problem. Okay, and once you've seen that, you can't unsee it. It's why when theists come here and say you should, what would it take to bring you back to Christianity? Like unseeing all the stuff that I know, it's like once you see it, you can't do it. And then the trust issues come because now, okay, you're a Christian. What is your motive for trying to be my friend? Because you'll hear that term in church, friendship evangelism, right? Where you be friends to the unbeliever, and then you kind of bring them around church, and they hear the gospel, and and that sort of thing. But it's a friendship with an ulterior motive. Is that really friendship, or is it just more proselytizing? And that's something that's always been an issue for me. Okay, it's always been since I've left the church, even more so. So, and it really gets bad when it's my family members. So that kind of thing. Yeah, because they've declared your death, haven't they, Katie? You're going to rot and burn in hell forever, and yet they're going to still say that they love you. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I think that's part of the issue. It is that they want you to stand on your own 2 feet, but that's never. I'm sorry, I've read the Bible. I don't really see that. There's definitely a stronger sense of community in the Bible. Yeah, see, yeah, Deepak, he's lost most of his family. I feel for you, man. I really do. I just feel for you, bro. I do. I don't know what to say. I lost a lot of friends when I left the faith. A lot of friends, and some of my family has been pretty good so far, but I'm always worried about the one day we're going to have the talk. Okay, and that's something that I definitely want. Not necessarily to be avoided, but to be prepared for. I've prepared myself quite well, I think, mentally for that when it happens. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a human trait. Everybody's nice to each other to kind of get something out of it. You trust your animals. Yeah, I can see that. I don't think we deserve dogs. That's one of my things. I think dogs are above us when it comes to loyalty. So yeah, I honestly, Ronald, that's kind of a Christian trait, to trust everybody until, and I think it's a normal human trait in certain senses. But and when I was a young kid and a teenager, that was like my motives. It's like I trusted people to a fault. But after you get stabbed enough times, you start to reverse that. Um, it's funny how when you're young, autism leads you to trust people until you can't, and you have two ideals. I just have idealistic views of relationships, and so they don't work out for me. Uh, See, Earl's still that way. She's still too trusting by her own admission, and it's the literal thinking. I think, Earl. I agree with you there. I think I've been burned enough that it's flipped. It's quite the opposite. I don't trust people anymore until they prove themselves trustworthy. So, flirty fishing, yes. I had a woman, I think, that practiced this practice to get people in the church. She had a new boyfriend every month, and it was all about getting them into the church where they'd hear the gospel, and then she'd break up with them. I don't know what else went involved in there, if there was another benefit to being her fishing victim. So hey bro, if you come to bed with me, I'll let you come to bed with me if you come to church. I don't know if that happened. It would be an interesting evangelistic technique, probably very effective at getting people into church at least once. So trust is overrated. Supposed to believe faith. Trust people to be who they are is as far as I go. Okay, there you go. I mean, I get it. That's kind of negative. It is. I'd like to think better of people. People as individuals are usually pretty okay. It's when they get in groups. That's when I get even more antsy. Oh man. Yeah, we're constantly reevaluating. I also know that everyone I get close to will hurt me and disappoint me eventually. It makes me it really makes no sense. I think that's the problem. Is like when I do finally let somebody in, it's like I trust them too much. It's like I don't have any way of having this graduated trust of people to a certain point. It's like it's all or nothing, and it bothers the hell out of me. It's like I either am all in or I'm not. So I feel you there. Um, no, it's because it's the dogs. Okay, they want to talk to the dogs. I have a funny habit. Like when I do go to see new people and the dogs come out, I greet the dogs first. I like pet the dogs, greet the dogs. Don't pay any attention to the people. I want to deal with the kind, gentle souls in the household, and it's probably the dogs. Um, you know, unless they've been trained otherwise. But it's like I always greet dogs. I have more fun with dogs than I do anything else. So I love the my daughter has a new dog, and me and him are kind of buddying up. So every time I go over there, he wants to hang out with me. So dogs are good people. So you have one nephew that checks on you 3 or 4, and they're probably checking on for the rest of the family. I hope that's not the case. They're just trying to. We want to make sure we know where Katie stands. Yeah, I have that attitude. When I had my dog, if my dog didn't like a person, there was a damn good reason that person shouldn't be liked, because that damn dog liked everybody. But every once in a while, he would not like a person, and I'm like, well, I don't like him either. Then I'll trust your judgment. So yeah, I mean, I think I think that's you bring up a good point for all of us, though, Rimmer. I have to really evaluate, okay, did they disappoint me or hurt me intentionally or unintentionally? Okay. Sometimes you got to factor in ignorance. I really, really try to do, don't assume malice, assume ignorance, or assume competence sometimes. And it's a good assumption to have, because most of the time people are just being ignorant or incompetent. They're not being malicious. So, see, there's another basis for another religion, I think. We all have a dog hole shaped thing in our heart that we need filled by a dog. So let's see. Let's see. All right. Okay. Yeah. See, I agree. I don't know. I want to get my own place, and then I'm definitely going to get a dog or two again. I miss having dogs, but right now it's like it would be a lot of work. Don't resent people for wanting things from me. That's kind of the definition of a relationship. I only get suspicious when I don't know what the thing they want is, or they deny wanting anything. I think you bring up a valid point, Eric. I think that's kind of the issue for a lot of us. It's like the problem for me as a former minister, it was always people wanting something. Like there was never a time when I had a relationship in the church where somebody didn't want something from me all the time. Like there was never, I don't want anything in return, Pastor, here. There was always this unspoken, I want you to appeal to God on my behalf. And I think it's inherent flaw in the system. It's why I'm still in counseling. There's a lot of things in ministry that still affect me after 20 years. The way I handle relationships had a lot to do with how I handled them as a pastor, because there's always this business arrangement thing with the church that's kind of an undertone. And so it's like, it's not how much of a real friendship is it when you're in church. So especially when you're a minister. Oh. Eh. Let's see. I realize now that I trust people too easily, and it was my brainwashed Christian upbringing that made me that way. But how do you deconstruct that? You let me know when you find out completely. I can only say this, that I'm working on my trust of people and learning how to. I have a hard time like having levels of trust. It's either I trust you or I don't. And you can have, I trust this person to this point, and evaluating each person in your life as to how much do I trust them is kind of a good exercise in kind of developing that. At least for me, it has been. Um, it's it's like I don't trust people that have kind of screwed me over. I mean, there's a statement that see every once in a while on Facebook. If you're going to fuck me over, you better make sure you're not ever going to need me again. Okay. Because if you do that, I'm done. Okay. And it's like, don't waste a lot of things with me. But at the same time, keeping people away that are going to be toxic to you is not a bad thing. But Christianity has that forgiveness thing. Like, you got to forgive or God won't forgive you. And now that second part is gone. And so the first part is questionable. Do I have to forgive? I think unforgiveness has a value to it. Okay. It's like, no, you fucked me over, and I'm not going to enter into a toxic relationship again where somebody's expecting something. And then at that point, I'm completely out with the trust. I'm not talking to that person. I'm not dealing with them. So, let's see. I can forgive most things, but I have 3 rules. Don't fuck with my time, don't fuck with my money, and don't lie to me. Break those, you're dead to me. It's instant and permanent. Okay. I'll remember those, Earl. I try. I think I can do that. I don't try not to mess with your time or your money. And so, if my dog doesn't like you, I have no use for you. Okay, that's fair. Dogs are pretty good judges of character. Nothing. You're dead. I mean, why do you want something to happen? That's a better question. For me, it's like it's over. But that's good. I don't want to live forever anymore. Uh, yeah, we can be very black and white in our thinking. Yeah, that's probably it. Makes gradation difficult. That's why I have to work on it. Like, I have to create like these different gradients of trust in my head, and I'm like, okay, these are the criteria, and then try it. That's the thing about being autistic. Like, these basic things that everybody else does automatically, I have to think about and categorize. Okay, I have to like come up with a plan. It's hard living that way, but I don't have the ability to think in terms of of that kind of thinking anymore. I don't have the ability to just do the gradients. I have to really think about them. Yeah. I love my mom and dad. They were both Christians, but I also know their past. And I had a feeling that maybe if dad stayed alive and mom was around, that eventually they might have dropped the Christianity, because my dad was asking very interesting questions of me, because he couldn't read very well because he was dyslexic. And we didn't discover that till right before he died. And so he would always ask me about Bible passages and theology and the stuff that I was having trouble with, because he couldn't read it himself. So he'd just pick my brain. And he was asking some interesting questions at the end about Christianity as a whole. And so the reason I put family in a special category. Is it's like I never know when they might come around, to seeing things my way, and maybe they never will, maybe they will. But my parents were very loving, caring people, and I don't think their faith had anything to do with that. That's the way they were. So, and still are. My mom's still that way. So. He just wants to know if you're still alive. Okay. Okay. That's nice of him. It's always nice to have a family member that's checking your pulse on occasion. I suppose that's okay. It does make for a great relationship. Yeah. I think I had some other answers to the other guy's questions. We're dead. That makes life more precious, by the way. I enjoy every moment of my life far more than I did as a Christian, thinking I had another shot. So, yeah, I think I can relate. I get older. I feel a little bit easier to be alone, but at the same time, not. So, yeah, Bren as I recall, Bren, you don't like dogs that much. There's people that don't like dogs. I allow them. Yeah. If you look behind me over on the shelf, I think I still have my one dog's collar too, Katie. So I feel you. He's been dead since 2016, so almost 10 years, and I still have his collar. Great dog. Uh, I'd come back one more time and roll nipped at him. I not bringing a guy to my house again. Oh, all right. Yeah, see, dogs are good for that. Dogs understand the relationship with humans. Okay, like if they protect their humans, they're gonna get fed. Okay, you're gonna like them. They're very protective of us, and I have to ask why sometimes, but it's funny how I trust dogs more than people, and I'll greet dogs before I'll greet the people. So yeah, I think there's a limit. I also think forgiveness is now conditional. I think I did a video once about how the unconditional nature of Christian forgiveness actually leads to abuse because let's take that notion of you got to forgive or God won't forgive you to its logical conclusion, and what do you get but an abusive relationship? Because if you have an abuser and they abuse you and then they ask for your forgiveness, you have to forgive them and then treat it like it never happened. And so you're automatically going to fall into this pattern. I think Christian forgiveness is one of the worst relationship things ever. You know, I don't know. I get this sentiment too, but I also think the very act of forgiving leads us to trusting people, and sometimes unforgiveness, if handled properly, it's like, no, I'm not going to forgive that until you apologize. I'm not going to forgive that until you make restitution or make it right. Okay. Um, you know, and I don't have to have anything to do with you anymore. I think that's one of the deconversion issues that I dealt with very early on was, yeah, I don't have to forgive these people. Okay, fuck them. Yeah, it's like I don't have to deal with them. And I think that's probably one of the greatest, most liberating things I ever did in my life was getting over the Christian notion of forgiveness, because I really think it leads to abuse. Um, yeah, it's very much like that's what Christian forgiveness does to you. It's like you it's gone bad, but you still keep doing it. So uh, whatever you want it to be, you have the freedom now to make the meaning of your life be whatever you want. It is an absolute Christian notion that you don't have any value, or Islamic notion or faith notion in general, because I don't know what your religion is. but it's an absolute notion of that religion that you have to have it in order to have meaning in your life. And that's one of the biggest lies of religion. You can find definite meaning in your life without religion. I know I've done it. And probably everybody in this room, except a few, has done it. There's ways to live your life, and you don't have to have this overarching meaning. You can make it for yourself. Is there an overall meaning to life? No. But is there a temporal meaning that you can have? Absolutely. I have mine. So, yeah, I mean, Earl says the ultimate, there is no meaning to life, but you can manufacture meaning in this life, I think. So, yeah, you don't have to have the lies of religion to do so. And there's a room full of people that have found their purpose and their meaning to what they do because they get up every day and do it. Okay. Um, yeah, and it has a lot more meaning and purpose when you know it's the only one you get. So, the same thing. The same thing that was happening before you're born. Yeah, Earl's a little bit nihilistic. I've had that discussion with her before in line and chat, I think. So, oh, yeah, it doesn't have. Yeah, okay, Ronald, I'll buy this one. This is a good one. It doesn't have to be meaning to life to have a fulfilled life. If someone ever finds out that human life has some special meaning and can prove it, I would still live the same. I wouldn't change. I think the very act of getting up in the morning and doing what we do means that we have found our own meaning to life, regardless of whether we have a religious belief or not. Um, I just don't need it anymore. I don't need Jesus and heaven and hell and all that crap to have meaning to my life. So it's a good question. I'm glad you're respectful and just asking questions. I appreciate that. But yeah, we found our meaning as deconverted people. I searched for mine for a couple of years. I'll be honest, because I was so when you come out of the indoctrination of Christianity, old thinking habits and patterns you have to kind of deal with. But once I realized that you don't have to have this ultimate eternal meaning. In fact, I would say that's a sales pitch. Like they're selling you something that doesn't exist. That they haven't proven to exist. So I discarded it. Okay, I discarded it. I agree, Cranky. And by the way, welcome. I agree, Cranky Elder God. My issue with Christian forgiveness is that it leads back to God. God wants you to forgive so that you are others, so you're trained to forgive him for when he, fucks up. Okay, I can see where God having that kind of narcissistic God that the Bible presents, especially in the Old Testament, and even worse in the New in some respects. Yeah, if you train people to forgive each other, then when your God does stupid things, supposedly, then you can forgive him too. Um, eh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not. It's yeah. I agree. I mean, it's. I mean, I think it's up to the person that's wrong to forgive. A lot of people can come to you and ask for forgiveness if they're trying to reconcile or whatever. I get why they're doing it, and it's because they want something. You're right. It's they want something back. They want the restored benefits of the relationship without having the consequences of what they did. And it's one thing about Christianity I'm glad to be over is this idea that I can get rid of the consequences of what I do just by waving a magic spell at it. Jesus forgives me, so you have to too. So yeah, we end up in that mental state. We're always asking God to help us to forgive people, and it's like maybe I don't have to. Okay. Yeah. Fool forgives nor forgets. Neither. Nor a wise man forgives but does not forget. Eh, I think if forgiveness is deserved, it's merited. Yeah, an apology is paving the way for future offenses. Yep, possibly. I mean, I think you have to assess whether the offense was intentional or in ignorance. Like if somebody does something and they didn't know, and they ask your forgiveness, because they didn't know, that might be legit. Okay, because some people just they blunder around. Like I blunder around socially because I don't have any social graces and no natural social skills. So sometimes I piss people off and I don't intend to at all. So I get that part of it. It is very freeing to kind of, but I don't know if that's forgiveness. I think that's you coming to terms with what was done with you to you. It's learning that you don't have to be a victim of what they did. And that's a very different thing than forgiveness. I'm not sure that's the same. So yeah, it depends on the level of betrayal too. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think they have to recognize that they need forgiveness or that it's up to you and that they shouldn't expect it. I don't think a person who wants forgiveness should expect to be forgiven. Okay, like you should go into that encounter if you really legitimately want forgiveness for something. Like if they don't forgive you, you should accept that outcome. So, yeah, admission of wrongdoing. And yes, there's definitely, this is what I'm kind of get to respect yourself. Don't allow people to um, take away the value you have for yourself. Okay, I think that's the thing. And if you're going to forgive somebody and that's going to diminish your own value, yeah, maybe you want to right think it. So people always tell me I should and just let it go, but he doesn't deserve my forgiveness, and I refuse to extend him that kindness. Well, there you go, Earl. You're saying what I say. It's like there's a certain level of offense. Like, no, I'm not going to forgive you, and you don't deserve it. So, um, I have that according to a couple people. Like there's one guy that was very instrumental in a lot of bad things that happened to me when I left my last church, and you know, I've had people come, well, you got to forgive that guy, and I'm like, no, I don't. I'm not going to forgive him. Okay, he's a piece of shit. He's a sociopath, and I know he's a sociopath. So I'm not, and he does a lot of things by choice. So, and yeah, I'm not going to forgive him. And you know, some people felt I was rather harsh about that, and I'm like, no, I don't believe in karma, but a few bad things have happened to him, and I've had no empathy whatsoever, towards his situation. So, uh, yeah, whatever keeps you from deleting yourself. Yeah, there's some value in that. I mean, it's like I said. I mean, I think I discover my purpose every day. Like every day, I get up, and I do my thing, and I discover more of who I am and what I'm trying to be. And so, I think living that way it keeps you in the moment much more. It's not that I don't make future plans. It's just I find my meaning and my purpose every day. Okay, that there's something to do that I can do, and yeah, so there's that. Mm, of course not. Of course not. Except if you take Christian forgiveness to its logical conclusion, then you can forgive your abusive spouse every single day and they can beat you the next day and then you have to forgive them. Okay. And I remember I had a Christian pastor colleague that said that he felt abuse was a reason for divorce. And I'm like, well, can you biblically justify that given forgiveness? And yeah, that ended the conversation. The Bible leads you down a very dark path with relationships when you consider what it expects out of forgiveness. You know, see, I want to join you. I want to join you so many days, but it's like every once in a while somebody does something nice for me, doesn't expect anything in return, and I don't know what to do with that. I do not know what to do with that. Okay. I it I really, I people, I don't like them. I feel like sometimes I'm an alien on the wrong planet. Um, I just don't need it. So there's that. Uh, Sorry, dude. You have to prove that the Bible is written by God. Do you have evidence for that? Because otherwise, that's just a claim. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. To me, not forgiving is like no, it's kind of a judgment call. I've forgiven people since I left the faith. Don't get me wrong. It's just the trust level changes no matter what happens. So I don't know. God is a good God is a claim that doesn't line up with the Bible very well. I have better morality than the God of the Bible, and so does most of the people in this room. God of the Bible is kind of a dick. I know. I preached him for 20 years trying to justify his dick behavior. So yeah, I'm with you there. I'm not about retaliation or revenge either. I think that's stupid. Okay. But at the same time, I don't have to treat that person the same if I run into them. So there's that. Thank you, Martin. So, uh, yes, thank you. I know. The thing about this group, okay, you are a wonderful group of misfits, and I absolutely appreciate every single one of you. I think we find community in the fact that I have a hard time fitting in other online communities. Like I go to other live streams and I feel like I am the square peg in a round hole no matter where I go. Yeah, it's like it doesn't work for me. But here I'm okay. You guys are great, and I appreciate all of you. And I'm glad that a lot of you do very much care about me. I've received private messages from time to time from some of you where, "Are you okay?" And it's like I don't know what to do with it. My autistic self rebels against it. But thank you for all of you that have done that over the years. I've been at this for 5 years, and it's nice when somebody reaches out to me and says, "Hey, are you okay?" So that yeah, the truth has already been clearly revealed to you that atheism is true, and you are denying your naturalistic roots. Just look at the trees, bro. Thanks, breakfast tacos. As always, an excellent contribution. And you broke 2K, I heard. So congratulations on that. I'm always glad to see other content creators do well. So thank you. Um, See, there you go. Self evident truth, the naturalistic atheistic reality has been revealed to all of us, and you're just denying it in your unrighteousness. So, uh, that's true. I can always count on the chat for going this direction. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate you. Hey guys, we're one chat away from doing a stream tomorrow, so one super chat away. Who will it be? But thank you very much. I appreciate the support. I'm trying very much to help people here. every once in a while, a theist like the last one just gets in here, and it's like, this is not the purpose of this stream. I literally have a stream called Rabyd Fire where you can ask me anything you want and talk about anything you want, pretty much. So there's that. Yeah, me too. I think it's because I mean, I look back at my life now and I'm always the guy in the back of the room in the corner trying to hide. And the only people that I really relate to are those that are doing the same. So, or the person that gets, I always had a heart for people that got made fun of in school, and that continued all my life. When I see people making fun of somebody or getting on somebody, I wonder why. And when I find out why, it's usually something stupid. And so I like them even more. So this discussion reminds me of the guy in the Bible that wants to marry his man's daughter, Rachel, works 7 years, gets off to the ugly daughter, has to work another 7 years. Oh yeah. Yeah. Poor Jacob. Um, yeah, it's hot. It's interesting. How does it put it? Um, Leia was teary eyed. Okay. In other words, there's so much ways to translate that Hebrew. I remember one guy said, yeah, there's an element of that where it says that basically it's going to be, something that makes your eyes water to look at her. So the Bible's not very kind to Leia as far as her looks. I'll just put it that way. Uh, Thus the I killed Earl. All right. Yeah, you're not allowed to preach bullshit on this, especially on this stream. Okay. Sorry. Well, thanks. Appreciate you for making me work. Yeah, we made it, guys. Thank you, Cranky Elder God, as always. And the 666 is always appreciated around here. Um, because, I'll gladly accept the role of being the beast unless you wanted it, Cranky Elder God. We can play with Christians, and one of us can become the beast of Revelation. A very old quote, and I'm trying to remember the actress that it came from, and it was in a movie too, I think. So, oh, yeah, louder for the fuckers in the back. Yes, I've always gravitated towards people that are on the outskirts of a social occasion because that's where I dwell. Yeah. I was such the most odd positions I've ever been in is when I've had to be the center of attention at a social situation, and that's what made pastoring awkward for me. But I think the worst one was um, my own son's wedding, because it was it was very hard to do that. My daughter's wedding was a piece of cake because it was my daughter, but in that one I was kind of the center of attention because I was the father of the groom, and you know all that stuff, and it always made me, I got pulled more to the center of things, and it just made it awkward for me. I'm definitely in the back of the room on the edge. And every time I go to something social, and I appreciate people that dwell there. So it's the neighbor of the beast. Okay, 664. Okay, there you go. One of us can be the neighbor, and the other one can be the beast itself. Wow, what a very interesting point, David. That was song Why Don't You Love Me Anyway, or something like, I always imagine God doing a cover version. Yeah, I'm a dick that orders genocide, thinks slavery's okay, murders people just because I get pissed off, but you should love me anyway. I can see God doing that. I really could. That's the beast concubine. Yeah, it's kind of like where I am on Dawkins' scale. I'm a 6.969 atheist because it's dinner for four um, instead of dinner for two. Yeah, yeah, there you go. There you go. Where are you on the Dawkins scale? You know, I've been on a 6.969 for quite a while, close to seven as I can get without going over and still being humorous at the same time and being honestly accurate. I'll leave the door open for any evidence that proves the existence of any God, but that's about it. Right now, I'm unconvinced of any of them. So, as I recall, he's a seven. He is a Gnostic atheist, as I recall. He does not believe that there is a God, period, full stop. And, there isn't a God to him. I think Christopher Hitchens was there too. He was a 7.0. I'm not sure about Sam. I know Daniel Dennett said some things that indicated to me like he was a seven too. So yeah, it's the seven said you are making a claim at that point that there is no God. Okay. And I don't want to make that claim yet because the universe is a too big of a thing and how we define God becomes important. Like Cranky Elder God illustrates a point. We could have a God like that out there in the universe that's just this massive powerful being that makes us look like ants. Okay, that's the whole point of Cthulhu. Okay, it's like there could be this thing that just makes us look like ants. Is it an all powerful entity? No, but it's freaking really powerful. So there's that. There's a Dawkins cultural Christian scale. Probably, I don't see the problem with being culturally Christian is if you grow up in a Christian nation, there's a pretty good chance that you're somewhere on that scale. Okay, like if you grow up in the United States, there's cultural things that we do in the United States that are Christian oriented. That's just to be fair, and so you're going to be on that scale somewhere. So there's that. Yeah, he said that he liked surprises. So if God turned out to be real, it would be a surprise. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's pretty close to 7.0 for the God. So it goes from mosque to cathedral. Oh shit. Damn. I don't have. Can I just forego not being on the scale at all? uh, wow. Who are you talking to? Probably Earl. Jewish church, and yeah, maybe. I mean, I see the whole cultural thing bothers me because religion has been so much a part of humanity. It dominates our culture no matter where we go in certain respects. I'll know that we've reached another level of human enlightenment when that isn't the case. Okay, so I just don't know. I don't know. I think Cthulhu kicks Yahweh's ass. I mean, because Cthulhu isn't afraid of iron chariots. Okay, he doesn't need them either. Okay, but Yahweh gets befuddled by iron chariots. He gets beat. So Cthulhu can probably just make a bunch of iron chariots and game over. So I mean, I like Cthulhu. He most of the time he just doesn't give a shit. Okay, so it's just this. It's like I can respect a god like that. I don't give a shit. So yeah, it's no practical concern to your life. Yeah, I don't know. That we already have filled that role, haven't we, Earl? There you go. Yeah, we only have one, and that job's already being fulfilled. Oh man. Yeah, the thing about Yahweh is, and Christians really have this problem, and it's one of the things that led to my deconversion, is Yahweh seems to be all too human in his limitations. He's certainly not an omni God. He has, he doesn't know certain things. He changes his mind. He has trouble with iron chariots. He loses battles, but then he blames his followers for losing the battle. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think Cthulhu gives a shit about any of that. So, yeah, and see, that's where it is. I mean, I am absolutely a 7.0 atheist on any Abrahamic God or any God claim that currently exists. It's just if I ask the question about a huge, like, powerful being, the universe is a big place. Okay, so, and it would be very, very hard to dismiss the notion of a very powerful godlike being. Maybe not, the omni god doesn't make any sense to me, but the idea of somebody, having, through technology or something else, very godlike powers, I can see. I think it was Rationality Rules. Steve did a god he could possibly believe in, and basically what he is saying, we might create one. Okay, like human beings might create an AI god of sorts. That's a very believable possibility, but remote still, but possible. Yeah. Could put his foreskin armor away. I was wondering what they did with the foreskins that they collected. I mean, Samson does that. He like collects 300 foreskins. What the hell are you going to do with that? This leather. Yeah, he is way too human. Not going to happen. Welcome. Had a great day. Too bad, not for me. Okay. Sorry you had a bad day. Make a hat. BS. Why would you? Okay, a cap. Okay, I get it. I get it. Covers your head. I get it. I got it. BS. I can always count on you. Always. I've heard this. Bren got me going on this relic thing, and I am like studying it, and it's like I may do a video this week of some sort, um, about this, because I just find the fact that the belief in magical items still exists in the world today. Like things are endowed with some sort of mystical, magical, spiritual properties. Just kind of, I just get befuddled by it. It just befuddles it. Yes, don't forget the God sperm. I still think there's a cult idea that could make us money there. It'd be the greatest fraud ever, and you could get away with it, just like all the TV preachers do. There's always one theist. I'm looking up at my thing. How many people are watching right now? I've got probably 12 of you commenting in the comments, and there's about 10 people that are just lurking, so and haven't identified themselves. So, and that's their okay. If they're just listening in, that's fine. I used to lurk a lot, still do. The Blue Nun. There's a wine named after a blue nun. Is she actually blue? Like her skin is blue? Like the one girl in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Yeah. Speaking of magical, don't forget to do the like button. I appreciate it. The whales have returned. Are we giving them citizenship yet? Are we giving the whales? I have to admit, Earl, your birthday bash still lives in my memories. That's one of the best moments. Oh, it's one of the best moments. And speaking of birthday bashes, mine's the 18th of this month, and I think I'm going to do a live stream then. And I'm taking the night off from work, so I'll probably be doing that for a live stream, invite everybody in, and you can wish me another trip around the sun and all that stuff. So, but I haven't set that up yet, but I think I'll just do it random. Everybody's invited as long as you don't embarrass me too much. So, but yeah, I'm gonna have one. That'll be the 18th is it's a Tuesday, I think. So yeah, or at least on my stream. So yeah, kind of. I don't know. My birthday has always been kind of it happens. It kind of happens. I've never really celebrated it that much. You get to a certain age and it's kind of like, can I give this back? So, oh, yeah, really? Okay. Yeah. My mom always calls her early birthday present because hers is the 28th of the month. So I was her early birthday present. So according to her, so it's a nice sentiment for my mother. So, oh, no, probably not. Yeah, I think that might be true, Martin. I think we could get away with like the holy sperm and maybe holy foreskins too. Ah, no, can't be true. You're not a fossil yet. In order to be fossilized, your bones have to be replaced with rock, and that hasn't happened yet. So, you guys, you guys, as always. Yeah, it's a funny group, isn't it, David? Oh, oh, I forget about all this stuff. I really do. Really, you do? How did that fight go, Cranky Elder God? I'm pretty sure it was one sided. Oh man, I'm kind of getting to feel that way too. I mean, because I can't like for a while in my early 50s, I could like reverse the numbers and it was cool. I can't do that anymore. It makes it worse. Um, so I'm in my later 50s now, so I'll be 56 on the 18th, and I'm just like I can't reverse the numbers anymore. At least not for a few years, and I'll be able to do that again. So okay, Rawhide David. Oh, you said pre-fossil. Okay, I stand corrected. Sorry. That's not old. You're only 37. You're good. I'm just telling you how to look at your number. You can make it's new math. You can make one number in front of the other. So you can't do that in the second half of any decade, but you can do it in the first. Always makes me feel better. Oh. Oh, you guys. All right. Well, I'm past my hour, and unfortunately, I have to get ready for work. Lucky it's my Friday. So I want to thank all of you for coming by. I guess I have to thank all 4 super chatters because now I have to work tomorrow and do a stream tomorrow. So I will do that. I have a video I have in mind, but I'll put up the stream link either later tonight or tomorrow morning, so you'll know what it's about. And so there's that. But yeah, thanks for the donations. I appreciate you guys making me work, actually. So I enjoy that. I'm letting you guys decide what I do, in some respects. So thanks everybody for stopping by. I appreciate all of you. Hit the like button, share, do the things that you do. The like button there is up in the smack. Go up there and give it a shove. All of the button violence is not condoned by this channel. Yeah, do the like button. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And tomorrow we'll stream. I'll have some video to react to. I think I'm going to look for somebody I haven't reacted to before, and it might be a groaner, because that's kind of sometimes how I like to do my reactions. But it might also be somebody serious that maybe needs to be taken seriously. We'll see. But I'll have that up at least by tomorrow morning as to what we're reacting to. So we'll see you then. But as always, guys, live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over. So take all your time, money, and opportunities and give them to yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do. And don't waste it on the trappings of religion and faith, because that's a dead end. I speak from experience. And as always, thanks for stopping by, guys. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, mods, all of that stuff. And I'll catch you next time.